Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and welcome to the Cauldron of Carnage, the second boss in the raid on Heroic. This is an interesting boss, so you've got a dinosaur and a gorilla that are fighting each other, and they start on opposite sides of the room, and if you bring them too close to each other, they get a big shield, so you don't want to do that. And also, each of them stacks up a dot on players that are nearby, so eventually you'll want to swap which side you're on so that you don't stack too much of the dot. Now, this is the T-Rex. This one is Flarendo. Eruption Stomp here just hits the tank for a bunch of damage and makes those fire waves come out from where the tank is. This boss also throws scrap bombs at random players that are nearby. And these do like 70 million fire damage split between everybody at this raid size that's soaking them. But you could either immune soak them or as a tank pop a bunch of defensives and soak them that way. And that was really important because, especially on this overlap, everybody gets these circles around them that's pulsing damage. I suspect that they're going to add something like you need at least 4 people to soak it. Right now, it only has a you need at least 1 person to soak it mechanic, but I suspect they'll be adding more of that. So yeah, the boss does 3 of these bombs per side. We tank soak the first 2 and immune soaked the last one, and then after this, the bosses charge into each other and do a colossal clash where they basically are just kind of RP fighting each other. They're not actually doing damage to each other, but here's a good time to actually cleave. They're also doing raid damage. And each time they do this, they do 15% more of that damage as well. So it ramps up over the course of the fight. And you have a bunch of these fire waves and lightning swirlies to dodge. Now, after this is a very natural time to swap. So we just have everybody swap sides after this one. Here is the lightning boss. So the lightning gorilla casts static charge. Now you see I have a bar at the bottom of my screen. And as that fills up, if it gets full, you get stunned. And it goes up as you move. And then it goes down as you don't move. As it approaches being full, you'll get a circle around you as well. And that circle indicates who you're going to stun with you if you keep moving and you fill your bar all the way up. Now, those images there just chase people down and try and explode on them and create these silency ground puddles. They can be like stunned and rooted and stuff. But yeah, then there's this mechanic where you are basically trying to all dodge these while not moving too much. So it's a classic one where you're going to want to wait and then move and then wait and then move and not just keep running the whole time, because if you do that, you'll get stunned. The boss also does Lightning Bash, which does a bunch of tank damage. Very good candidate for Spell Reflect as a prot warrior. And beyond that, I think that's all the mechanics that are on this side. I've missed some of the T-Rex mechanics, though, so we'll get back over to that side. They tuned this thing on PTR to have a bunch of HP, so it was quite a long fight. I don't think... I guess we're also scaled to a fairly low item level as well. Yeah, here's another Colossal Clash. And you can see the ground is very fiery over on Flarendo's side. Each time one of those bombs explodes, it leaves behind fiery ground. Luckily, that fire didn't actually do that much damage, so you could kind of just bathe in it. These lava waves also didn't do that much damage, so... not actually a lot of... The main ways you could die were actually the laser. So the laser is something that I haven't spoken about yet. That comes out as the scrap bomb is about to explode. And so the laser... You see I'm just standing in the fire. It's not really doing anything. This blast burn roar cannon. So it's going to pick somebody, aim at them, and then once the cast finishes, it locks the position in. And then a couple seconds later, it'll start breathing. If you're in that, you're going to die. So you want to make sure you don't aim that at the bomb if people are soaking that, although there's always enough room to dodge, and then you just wait until it locks in, and then you get out of it if you're the person being targeted by it. And it can be shot across the room as well, so try not to aim it across the room as well. Just aim it off to the side, wait for it to turn into that. The graphic changes and the cast finishes, but it still took a little bit of time for people to kind of get used to what it'd be like. Again, we got this nasty overlap between the second bomb explosion and everybody getting these fire AoE circles around them. You can see somebody was in the middle of the room there as well and was getting targeted by both the lightning and the fire mechanics. So that's another reason you probably don't want to do that, in addition to getting both of the stacking dots, which would be pretty nasty. So yeah, then it just rinses and repeats over and over again, each time doing a little bit more damage on each of these charges, but you can see the damage, it's not too much. There's not like a huge initial hit of damage on the Clash. There's just kind of this slowly ramping damage, which our healers were able to manage for the most part without too much trouble. The ground is getting more and more. There's more of these silence zones on the lightning side, more of the fire on the fire side, but they weren't too punishing. The bosses always get knocked back out after the Clash towards their original side. In theory, you could maybe do like a rotate around the room thing and try and swap sides. so that you could, because the fire kind of takes up more space than the lightning. So maybe you'd want to try and get the T-Rex over to this side. But in practice, we didn't see that as being necessary or super feasible. But yeah, I think I'm going to show you what it looks like to get stunned soon. Again, remember that if you do get stunned, you're going to stun everybody in that circle that spawns around you as you get close to getting stunned. So I think it's during this next Thunder Drum here. Yeah, the Thunder Drum salvo. This is where everybody has to dodge. And you can see there, I kept moving. I shouldn't have kept moving, right? I should have stayed. And now there's a bunch of us all together. And my thing is fairly high. It looks like actually this time I didn't get stunned. Maybe it was on a different pull where I ended up getting stunned. But yeah, definitely want to avoid that if at all possible. And that's kind of all there is to this fight. They don't share HP. When you kill one of them, the other one will get stacking damage increase and range increase on all of its stuff. So you do want to kill them within a few seconds of each other, ideally. But you don't need to. They don't share health, so you have to actually split your damage. But it's kind of easy to do because if one side happens to be higher DPS than the other side, you're swapping bosses anyways. It can be a little bit awkward, though, if you have like a bunch of 2-minute classes on one side and they end up 2-minuting the same boss over and over again. So when they're clashing in the middle is a good opportunity to have everybody primary target whichever one is higher. And as long as you do that, you'll probably be okay. But yeah, that's it. That's all there is to this boss. I'll skip ahead and show you the boss dying. Just another swap and 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the fight, which again, the heroic second boss, I suspect that this will not take this long if you have a good pull with everybody alive when it actually comes out, but just PTR tuning things. But yeah, one of them dies, and then the other gets a little buff, but they both died within a couple seconds here on this pull. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.